Internal Revenue Service IRS tax news. IRS provides tax relief for victims of Hurricane Delta. October 15th deadline. Other dates extended to February 16th. IR 2020-236, October 19, 2020, Washington. Victims of Hurricane Delta that began on October 6th now have until February 16, 2021 to file various individual and business tax returns and make tax payments, the Internal Revenue Service announced today. The IRS is offering this relief to any area designated by the Federal Emergency Management, FEMA, F-E-M-A, there's a link to that here, as qualified for individual assistance. Currently, this includes Acadia, Calcasieu, Cameroon, Jefferson Davis and Vermilion parishes in Louisiana. So I completely butchered their names there, but you could find them here at the link in the Federal Emergency Management or FEMA link, which is here, and there'll be a link to this in the description back to the text. But taxpayers in localities qualifying for individual assistance added later to the disaster area elsewhere in the state and in neighboring states will automatically receive the same filing and payment relief. The current list of eligible localities is always available on the disaster relief page on IRS.gov. There's a link to the disaster relief page here so you can read those for yourself as they are updated. The tax relief postpones various tax filings and payment deadlines that occurred starting on October 6, 2020. As a result, affected individuals and businesses will have until February 16, 2021 to file returns and pay any taxes that were originally due during this period. This means individuals who had a valid extension to file the 2019 return due to run out on October 15, 2020 will now have until February 16, 2021 to file. So that means if you filed you had the 2019 tax return was due, but they extended the due date, but they did not extend the extension due date. So you would have had to already have filed for the extension. If had done so, then you would have until October 15th to file, and that's the deadline that has now been extended to the February 16th, 2021. For any of these localities that were also impacted by Hurricane Laura, this also means an additional extension beyond the December 31st deadline announced in August. The IRS noted, however, that because tax payments related to these 2019 returns were due on July 15, 2020, those payments are not eligible for this relief. So in other words, it's going to be the extension. You would have had to file for the extension, which would eliminate or reduce or eliminate penalties related to the filing requirement. However, the extension related to the filing requirement does not extend the time period on which the payment was due. The payment was due before this problem happened, so the IRS is not going to extend the time period for the payment since it happened before that point. So only the extended tax return due date has been extended with regards to 2019 individual tax returns. The February 16, 2021 deadline also applies to quarterly estimated income tax payments due on January 15, 2021, and the quarterly payroll and excise tax returns normally due on November 2nd, 2020 and February 1st, 2021. It also applies to tax-exempt organizations operating on a calendar year basis that had a valid extension due to run out on November 16, 2020. Businesses with extensions also have the additional time, including, among others, calendar year corporations whose 2019 extensions run out on October 15, 2020. In addition, penalties and payroll and excise tax deposits due on or after October 6th and before October 21st will be abated as long as the deposits were made by October 21st, 2020. The IRS Disaster Relief page, there's a link to that here, has details on other returns, payments, and tax-related actions qualifying for the additional time. The IRS automatically provides filing and penalty relief for any taxpayer with an IRS address record located in the disaster area. Therefore, taxpayers do not need to contact the agency to get this relief. However, if the affected taxpayer receives a late filing or late payment penalty notice from the IRS that has an original or extended filing, payment, or deposit due date falling within the postponement period, the taxpayer should call the number on the notice and have the penalty abated. So the abatement of the penalty should be automatic, or the penalty shouldn't be applied, in other words. But if you do get a note saying that the penalty does apply and you know that it should not have, then you can respond to the notice that you had then been received in order to abate the penalty. There should be contact information, including a number on the notice if that indeed happens. In addition, the IRS will work with any taxpayer who lives outside the disaster area, but whose records necessarily meet a deadline occurring during the postponement period or located in the affected area. Taxpayers qualifying for relief who live outside the disaster area need to contact the IRS at 866-562-5227. This also includes workers assisting the relief activities who are affiliated with a recognized government or philanthropic organization. Individuals and businesses in a federally declared disaster area who suffered uninsured or unreimbursed disaster-related losses can choose to claim them on either the return for the year the loss occurred, in this instance 2020 return normally filed next year, so it'd be this year's return, or the return for the prior year, 2019. So you actually have the option to do it for 2020 or 2019. So be sure to write the FEMA, F-E-M-A, declaration number 4570 for Hurricane Delta in Louisiana on any return claiming a loss. See publication 547 for details. There's a link to publication 547. The tax relief is part of the coordinated federal response to damage caused by Hurricane Delta and is based on local damage assessments by FEMA, F-E-M-A. For information on disaster recovery, visit disasterassistance.gov. There's a link to that here. There'll be a link to this in the description.